nutritional needs, protect you, and guide you through until you're able to make your own food and put in your mouth. Even then, at a young age, you still need your mother. For the mothers who have been eating the children's Cerelac after they finish their 6 months exclusive breastfeeding, God is watching you. All of you. Prepare the food, the children do small, then you eat the food. God is watching you. Jesus are watching. It's 20 minutes after 8 here at 9. Sorry about that. I don't want to go away. This is Gifty Ama. Gifty Ampa is the National Breastfeeding Program Officer of the Ghana Health Service. Patience Boanya is a nutrition officer at Ridge Hospital, and Dorcas Mausi Oklu Ham is a midwifery officer at Antenatal Clinic, Greater Accra Regional Hospital, encouraging and promoting breastfeeding for healthy childhood. Good morning, ladies, and is it good to say happy breastfeeding day, week, month? It's a full month.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome. I was just looking at a photo of me in 2013 doing the launch at Super SB Hall. But good morning. They say breast is best. I remember I picked that phrase from that program, and I have not forgotten about it. Why is breastfeeding important? Auntie Madam, let me begin with you.
Thank you very much.
Use the microphone for me.
To you, and good morning to your listeners.
Right.
I would probably just, for purposes of making it a bit more simpler, categorize the benefits.
Right. Right.
So I would look basically at the action of breastfeeding. Putting the mouth to the mother's breast, forming a teat with the mother's nipple, and then sucking the breast out. There are 3 processes to that. Now, that action in itself helps with our jaw development. Helps for the babies to have very strong jaws. And then also helps with the teeth alignment itself. So if you have a child, you compare a breastfed child and then a bottle-fed child. That child will have, the breastfed one will have stronger jaws. The dentation will be much better compared to the other. And then I'll look at human milk. The component of human milk is tailored for the human. Humans don't grow as fast as animals do. As if a goat is born today, it has to stand up within an hour and follow the parents. Children don't behave like that.
That's right.
And so the milk is tailored to have the right amount of protein, the right amount of every nutrient. And then when you talk about, and it has enough nutrients to cover the child for the first 6 months. With very, very, very few babies not being able to cope until the end of the first 6 months.
6 months,
So when you look at breast milk, the constituent of human milk, that is what it is. And then I read something very interesting, that human milk also programs the body's systems so that in the long term, the child, we are able to use more external cholesterol and not produce more, within our bodies, so that you don't have the issue of putting in, for example, when I've grown to this age, I eat some eggs and my body is producing too much cholesterol, so I stand the risk of having high cholesterol and all its attendant problems. So it is very important that we give our children human milk. The last one I'll talk about is breastfeeding itself. No child, unless maybe the mother needs to go somewhere, is pulled off the breast. When they are full, they come off by themselves. And that action has been proven in the long term to help so that breastfed children do not overeat.
God made it so.
Yes. And every woman's breast milk is suited for the child. In this particular period that there's a lot of cold and sneezing, your body, the mother's body produces antibodies in response to cold and other small infections that also passes through the breast milk to the child. So the benefit of the whole breast milk, the action of breastfeeding, the human milk itself, and all is so essential to the child's growth and development.
But why 6 months? Why do we have to wait 6 months before we start giving him? Sometimes the grandmothers will say, "Mommy, show kakra, I'm sure you hear all these things. Why do we have to wait for 6 months before we introduce them to any food?" Okay, use the microphone for me. Get closer and use the microphone.
Thank you very much for the question. So, after birth, all they need is the breast milk. And then the breast milk contains all the essential nutrients that they need for their early growth and development. So at the age of 6 months, the breast milk wouldn't be enough for them. So that is why we advise that we supplement with the breast milk at 6 months.
Okay.
The body is made in such a way that at the 6 months, once the baby ages, the more the nutrient requirement also increases. So at the 6 months, the nutrient requirements wouldn't be able to bridge that gap. So we supplement with the home and the fortified meals at the 6 months.
I see. So 6 months it is.
Yes, 6 months and more.
And you advise that at the hospital.
Yes,
at what point do you tell parents this? Do the mothers?
So ideally, as a health professional, you have to advise the mother to start with the supplementation or the fortification of the meals from the fifth month. That is when you need to start. So that by 6 months they have a fair idea of what they need to do. And then also most of them don't get access to this counseling at the 5 month. So some of them come back around 7 months, still doing the EBF.
Oh,
yes.
Which is EBF?
Exclusive breastfeeding.
Okay.
So most come at 7 months still doing the EBF because of lack of knowledge on this. So at 5 months, 6 months, you need to advise the mothers to start with the fortification and then feed at 6 months.
Auntie Dorcas, the breast, they say one contains water and one contains food. Is it true? So there's water here, there's food there. So if you eat here small, then you drink water here small. Is it true?
Okay. Thank you for your question. Good morning to you once again and your listeners. So it's never true that one breast contains water and the other contains food. It's a myth. It is not true. So the composition of breast milk in both breasts are the same.
Okay.
So when you take breast, immediately you give birth, the breast milk that comes first is yellowish. That's what's called the colostrum. Very good, and it contains a lot of nutrients.
But some people pour it away. They say it's not good.
So they don't know. So the colostrum has anti-infective properties. It has growth properties. It protects the child against allergies. It helps the guts of the child to grow very well. So it's a sort of the first immunization for the child that every mother should give to the child, but not discard. So right after the colostrum, when colostrum is cleared, you realize that the milk's color will change. That is what is called the fall milk. That has a lot of water. Just like Auntie Gifty said, it has all the nutrients. So right from protein, fats, minerals, vitamins, all the nutrients are in it. So after the fall milk, what follows is called the matured milk. Yes, that has a lot of nutrients in it, or the hind milk.
Oh, hind milk. So it's back and forth.
Yes, so colostrum,
front gear and back
milk,
gear.
and hind milk.
So colostrum, fore milk, and hind milk. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And what people don't know is when you think one breast contains water and food, they tend to allow the baby to suck a little bit on the left and shift the baby to the right.
That's right.
What you do is you're only giving the child the full milk that contains a lot of the water.
From both ends.
For both ends. So you realize that baby though breastfeeding, but it's not growing well on the breast because the baby is not getting the hind milk that contains a lot of the nutrients in its right amount. So the ideal thing is for babies to empty one breast, get all the nutrients from the hind milk before you move baby to the next breast if baby is not full.
I see. They're using the same techniques they use for their fathers for the babies, which is not good. Babies feed differently. Auntie Gifty, you tell me. So I've done exclusive breastfeeding for my child. It's now 6 months. I have to start introducing him or her to food. What do I start with? Do I start giving him a deme right from the get-go? What do I do?
Okay, thank you. Before I respond to your question, I'd just like to add a bit to
Why
what
not,
Dr.
please?
said. You know, when a baby is born, the first few days, we have what we call colostrum. That's what she said.
Right.
So the colostrum lasts at most 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And then what we usually call the breast milk, the white milk, which starts coming. That is the one that has the foremilk and the hind milk.
Okay.
So that is where she explained that you need to get the baby to breastfeed fully from one to be able to get the fore and the hind.
And do you feel it if it's empty?
Yes.
It's only mothers who can explain this. We don't have an idea.
Yes, you can feel it if it's empty.
Okay.
And if you think the baby is still not full, then you move to the other breast. Other than that, most of the time, by the time they are done with one breast, they're actually full.
If you have a baby like Giovanni who eats plenty, you drain and then you drink.
But you see, interestingly, once the breast is empty, God refills it.
I see.
And so the next feeding cycle, even on that same breast you fed on already, you will still have milk.
Okay. Now let's talk about the food.
Yes.
6 months, I'm done.
Yes.
What
so
do I introduce? What do I start with?
So at 6 months, we want to introduce children to the normal household meals.
Okay.
Our aim is that by 2 years, the child can fully feed on all the household meals, the normal meals the family eats.
Okay.
So that then we can take him or her off the breast and now concentrate on the family meals. So we want mothers to just introduce the foods that you eat at home.
Okay.
Your own banku, your own fufu. Just make sure it is soft and very, even some of us do a TZ, we add a yo-yo, and then we take it and give to the children. If we want to do porridges, so the important some of us have potato, we add carrot,
yam pudding,
and all kinds
all
of everything. Yeah, you just have to check the pepper, you have to check the spices, and at 6 months, all they need between 6 and 8 months at a sitting is about just 4 tablespoons.
That's all.
That is all.
So you don't have to pack the food?
No. So you don't have to give a cup full of porridge.
Okay.
You don't have to give a bowl full of rice.
Okay.
It's just 3 to 4 spoons.
That's all.
That is all for a sitting 2 times a day.
Auntie Gifty, how do I ensure that I'm getting the pepper and the salt and all the things right? Because now the baby is going to dictate to us what we were eating before. He's now coming to dictate how we manage our lives. How do we do it?
In some instances, you can cook the baby's food separately if it is feasible.
Right.
If it is not, then the entire family, so probably with your soups and stews, you can make extra pepper shito at the side for the older people.
Right.
And then bring the entire family's food to a baby's level that the baby can tolerate.
Okay.
And as he or she grows, you can gradually increase the pepper.
I see.
Yes.
Tell me, madam, what foods should the mothers be eating so that they can get plenty breast milk? Something they should chew a browning katia. I hear things, pal. Tell me, what should we do?
So what can increase breast milk a lot? The calcium-rich foods can help in the production of breast milk.
Right.
And then they need to eat more of the vegetables in their soup, their stews, and then their salad also. And then they need to take in more fluid also. And then adequate rest in between meals. Okay. And then they need to also make sure that they express in between each feed. So just as my boss said, after breastfeeding and you know that your baby tends to sleep before you even turn to the other breast, the next thing is to express that particular milk. And then it can be stored in the fridge or it can be stored in a warm place for 8 hours.
Wow.
It can also be stored in a tabletop fridge for like 3 to 4 days. And then in a deep freezer for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can store breast milk for that long?
Wow. To a year, actually.
Wow.
Yes. So we just need to communicate.
If the freezer is good and you are not doing a lot of opening and closing, the power is stable.
The temperature is stable.
Stable. You can do up to a year. Yes.
Wow.
I
didn't know that.
I have a friend who had so much breast milk that by the time she had the second child, she had enough milk stored a whole freezer for the second child.
But that's the first child's
from the first child, yes.
Yeah, but you are drinking my milk. You should not be drinking.
But you've not been able to drink all, and I'm lucky to come and meet a stock of it sitting. Meanwhile, the breast milk is still flowing for the second baby. So I think it's one interesting thing. What we also want the women to understand really is that the actual thing that gives us plenty breast milk, is removing the milk.
Okay.
So as you feed, as you express,
more comes.
More comes.
I see.
So you can eat and do all that. It is for your health and all that. But if you eat and you don't breastfeed, whatever is there stays there. It never comes out of the breast. Few times you see the mothers are leaking. We kind of shake the breast and it stops. But once you remove,
it will come. Auntie Dorcas, you tell me, how do other family members, how can they support mothers, all right, during the period of breastfeeding? And how long should mothers breastfeed? Sometimes you see the child standing and the mother is doing banku and the child is also doing his own business with the breast. I mean, how long?
Okay, so let me start with how long. So we don't have a time frame for breastfeeding.
Okay.
Mommy or the mother should just sit comfortably. You should have time. You should be ready to breastfeed. Allow baby to suckle till baby is full.
Okay.
Sometimes because it's a lot of work, you realize that their jaw hurts, so they stop in between. It doesn't mean they are full. You just allow them to rest for some time. Sometimes you can just rub your hand around their cheeks and they resume it. So have time, sit, position and attach baby well to the breast and allow baby to go off the breast by him or herself before you say I'm done. Now when it comes to the family support, we can...
Before you get there, in terms of the age as well, can they breastfeed out to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years?
So the ideal thing is for a child to exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months. So I mean exclusive breastfeeding without water, without anything.
Just breast milk.
Just breast milk, unless under a doctor's instruction. And at 6 months, you continue with complementary feeds in addition to the breast milk up to 2 years and beyond. Good.
So those who give birth and straight away they go for teen food, they are not helping their children.
So they are not helping. So to add to what Auntie Gifty said, as in when introducing complementary feeds. Now, I believe listeners will be like, why is she talking about the local dishes and now nutrition transition, they have processed food? The fact is that nutrition transition has helped and has not helped in a bit. You think you have processed foods there. Now, these processed foods have added sugars, preservatives, and other things. The reason why most children are being exposed to infantile diabetes, cardiovascular conditions at an earlier age. So if you think it's an eye-opener, I'm going for processed food, ask yourself, if on your own you should blend banana, even in a fridge, leave it for 2 days, what would come out of it? You realize that it will go bad.
That's right.
And you have some of these processed foods like over a year on a shelf, you go in and give it to your child. You're exposing your child. Ask yourself, what has kept this fruit till this time?
I see.
It's processed things. And these tends to affect the child because when they are born, their organs, everything are fresh.
It's susceptible to a lot of infections.
We go and compromise it gradually with some of these processed things.
How do families support?
So family support. You realize that when you go to the villages, when you have a new baby, everybody, whether family or community, people are coming in fetching water, coming with firewood. It helps the mother to relax. To add to what Pat said, things that help in production of breast milk, stress also does not help in production of breast milk. So when family come into support, you realize that mother is well relaxed and breastfeed a lot, and breast milk comes once the breast is empty. So parents should support. Daddy should support. So male involvement is very key. So when mother expresses down, and maybe mother is taking a rest, whoever is there, maybe the husband, the mother, whoever, can also give the expressed breast milk to the baby for the mother to also take some rest and come back to support.
And not fight with the children over the breast milk.
Exactly.
That point has to be made.
At that point. and not for the
But
father.
You see, the
Gifty
fight
and Dorcas, they know.
over the breast milk.
Don't fight with your children over breast milk. It's
Allow
not
them.
good. It's not good.
Oh, allow them.
It's not good.
Borrow the breast to them
Briefly.
for a while.
Yes.
And then you can go back
Yes.
to
Don't
having
fight
your
with the
breast.
children
Yes.
over breast milk. It's not good. We have to go. But somebody mentioned that children who breastfeed are sharper in terms of their brain. They are very sharp. Is it true?
It is. It is. Breast milk helps with brain development because it has some
You use the
kind
mic
of
for me.
essential fatty acids.
Right.
You see that you cannot find in other forms of milk. Let me also mention that infant formula has its role. Okay, but breast milk is superior.
Okay.
Totally superior to infant formula. And the fatty acids help the brain cells to develop. They help the brain cells to mature.
Okay.
And so such children actually, you mentioned they are sharper, they are smarter, they are not that dull, compared to their counterparts who are fed infant formula. And sometimes the challenge is that, you see, we all want the easy way out. And we want to encourage our mothers out there. All of us here have been mothers before, so we want to challenge you. We challenged ourselves. It got to a point we were tired, but there was some support, and that's how come I love what Dorcas said. The father is the first support.
Right.
You are the first support. It is your baby, and you have full control over how your baby should be fed. It is our duty to encourage you and tell you what the benefits are so that you can support your wife.
I see.
And then other people, because once the man understands, he brings in other people sometimes to come and support the woman.
Okay.
So we want the father's support, basic, and then other people also will support and make the mother give the best to the child.
But what do you do to children, especially the boys who like to bite their mothers when they are breastfeeding? What do you do to them? Those boys. What do you do to them?
Okay, so we have babies that often bite their mothers during breastfeeding.
The bad boys.
Yes, and even the girls also.
The girls do too.
Yes.
They don't have mercy on women. What has women done to women?
Sometimes it's due to the fact that most of these kids, they are being given this
the tits to play with.
The pacifiers to be played with. So with the pacifiers being played with, it's soft. The mouth is really soft.
Right.
And then when you talk about the feeding bottles also, the mouth is also really very soft.
Right.
So when you compare these two with the breast is harder. So when you feed your babies with the feeding bottles and then you give them the pacifiers, when you give the breast, they don't even latch on the breast because they prefer the feeding bottles than that.
Okay.
So because they exercise their teeth or their gum on that, they tend to do the same to the breast.
So.
Yes, and sometimes it could be due to teething.
Okay.
Yes.
They want something to bite to check if the teeth is teething.
Yes. So teething can also cause that.
But I see a lot of people have pacifiers and they give them out to their children. I mean, some say it doesn't help the children to want or desire food. I came with my own pokey, so every time you see me sucking on my thumb, tell me about it, the pacifiers, and does it encourage children to eat, for example?
Yes, it doesn't. Because you see that most of these kids will be glued to the pacifiers. Thereby, they wouldn't even want to breastfeed. So you see them always lying there, busy chewing their pacifiers or busy playing with it.
Right.
Because of that, they wouldn't even get hungry to call for food. So due to that, it can also lead to infection also. Okay. Because it falls down, you peck straight away into the baby's mouth, which can also cause an infection. Can lead to diarrhea also, infectious diarrhea also, due to some of these things. So if you know you are a mother who prefer the use of the pacifier, you need to stop. Okay. It also causes gum distraction also. When they are teething, it causes their distraction of the gum also. So we need to stop. And then also with the feeding bottles.
Okay. All right, we have to pack it here, but I'm sure you have a list of events that you're doing to herald this. You guide me through it in the next minute, and then we can say bye-bye to you fine people for the education. Right?
Yes,
use the microphone for me, ma'am.
So for our breastfeeding month, the regions and the districts are having their own programs. They are doing, some of them have started with floats, and then there will be education and discussions, counseling ongoing everywhere. At the national level, we are also planning to have an engagement with our drivers, driver unions, national road safety, our media people, everybody who matters. This year we want to see how we can close some of the gaps that we have observed. For example, women sit in cars, we want to encourage them to breastfeed.
Right.
We also want everybody to come on board and provide us with breastfeeding booths. It's like a box that we can place anywhere.
Right.
So like 3FM, Media General, you can donate a booth to us, and then we'll place it somewhere, you brand it, so that women who are going anywhere who want to breastfeed
can just
they
go
can
in there
get in and then breastfeed. We also want to see if we can run
some breastfeed children.
Yes, breastfeed children. Yes, please, breastfeed.
Once is a booth and people,
please, the booth is for only mothers and children.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and fathers and their children with breast milk, express breast milk.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. We have to state that point. And I mean, I'm happy you are going to talk to the drivers too. The drivers.
They are a huge influence.
They are.
Actually.
They are a huge influence.
They can support us in our quest
and they say they like breasts too.
To breastfeed. We also want to run some webinars, so we'll see how it goes.
Great.
And we'll try and put them out so that those of you who are interested, you can just join.
Pat, your closing thoughts. What do you leave us with?
Okay, so we are talking about closing the gap. So we need each and everyone's support. We need the employees' support. When you talk about the employees, they can create space and time for breastfeeding or expression of breast milk at the workplace. Breastfeeding needs to be supported at all working places, because when you go to your working place and you are breastfeeding mother, because there is no space created for a mother to express during working hours, it becomes very difficult for mothers to even continue with the exclusive breastfeeding. Most tend to wean babies at 3 months because of returning back to work. So we need to close that gap. And then employees also need to assure that there is a dedicated payment of maternity leave to these mothers, because it's very important when it comes to that.
Maternity leave.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we need to also create policies and attitude that value women and breastfeeding anyway. As my boss rightfully said, when you go to the Trotskys and a mother remove the breast,
everybody's watching. Eyes are watching.
You get people pulling their neck to look at the
They want to be sure
size.
what you are doing first. I mean, let me speak for them. They want to be sure what you are doing.
It's very bad. And then you get people even going to the extent of removing their phones to take videos of all that.
It's not nice.
It's very bad. So we are campaigning that we all come together, step up to support all these women.
But sometimes the women too, they do it because when they are giving the breast to the child and the child refuses, and that's where the problem starts from. One jam the my brand is the same.
So that's it.
Brand wa friend will say open for me. Auntie Dorcas, your closing thoughts.
Okay, so I want to say that we should all come out to promote and support breast milk. It is the best. It's ideal. Yes, and also at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, we also started on the 1st August. We are giving talks on breastfeeding. We are supporting and promoting breastfeeding. All mothers delivering there are being supported to give their babies breast within first 30 minutes. So you can pass there for any education on breast milk.
Thank you very much indeed. Dorcas Mausi Oklu Aham. She's a midwifery officer at Antenatal Clinic, Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Patience Bwanya is a nutrition officer at Ridge Hospital. And Mrs. Gifty Ampa is a National Breastfeeding Program Officer. Big woman, indeed. And we've been talking about encouraging breastfeeding. Now you know, so go out and breastfeed. If your child is breastfeeding, leave the breast for the child. In the interim, it will come back to you. What is yours is yours. It will come back to you. Don't fight with your children over breast milk. We beg you. We beg you. Thank you very much.